Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. You hear that, boys? Crickets, dude. I have not woken up to so few comments all week, and it was honestly a bit of a nice change. Now, anyways, dude, we are here to recap UFC 293 in its entirety. I'm going to go over every single fight on the night, starting with the very first fight of the night. I'm going to try to get through these as quick as I possibly can, because obviously we all want to talk about the main event. Now, let's just get right into it, dude. First fight of the night, Kevin JOUSSET versus Kiefer CROSBIE. Okay, one thing I noticed at the weigh-ins, Kiefer CROSBIE's definitely on all the steroids. He has the most back acne I have ever seen from any male fighter in recent memory. Was very happy to see him get strangled quickly, okay, by Kevin JOUSSET, even though he is a city kickboxing guy. It was a wonderful performance, very quick. Just, it seemed as though they were somewhat evenly matched on the feet for a little bit, that Kevin JOUSSET started to kind of pull away, land some good shots, and then ended up finding the choke pretty quickly when Kiefer CROSBIE went for a pitiful attempt at a takedown. And if you look at the total strike numbers, Kiefer CROSBIE actually outlanded him. So it was even, even more so even, or more than even, in favor of Kiefer CROSBIE there for a little bit. But he started getting tagged pretty cleanly, tried to go for a throw, which was like, that kind of shit only works in women's MMA. Don't be trying that against a guy who is like a judoka. Do you know what I mean? And then he got taken down off of that, got his back taken almost immediately. Had no idea about defending chokes, apparently. Was strangled relatively quickly. Great performance by Kiefer CROSBIE. Moving up the card to Shane Young and Gabriel Miranda. Now, this was one of two fights I got wrong on the entire card. I went 10-2. And I made this pick before Shane Young missed weight by almost 4 pounds. So I was very happy to see him lose, because I don't like that shit. And he missed weight by almost 4 pounds, as I just said. And his team is very, very, very critical of guys missing weight, my bad, dude. And so I was glad to see him lose. Wasn't all that upset that I got my pick wrong. And, had I known he was going to miss weight by 4 pounds, I might have reconsidered. Now, to be fair, somebody asked me in the comment sections if this would make a difference. I said, I don't know. He didn't look all that sunk in, so he might still be able to get it done, but apparently he has the worst fight IQ of all time. And Gabriel Miranda, credit to him, dude. Beautiful performance. Very effective. Once he got Shane Young to the mat, it was basically over. Once he got him down, it was unbelievable. Very well done by Gabriel Miranda. We talked about this in the picks video. He had a very tough first opponent in the UFC. He had to fight Benoit Saint Denis. Now he's back on track. Looked very good in there against Shane Young. Shane Young should probably be cut. Do you know what I mean? That was a horrible performance, pitiful, and he just can't seem to get it done anymore. I don't know what it is, but either way, man. Moving up the card, Blood Diamond versus Charles Radtke. Okay. Someone asked me in my live stream yesterday, lock of the card, I said Charles Radtke over Blood Diamond, and he made it a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But I'll say this, dude. Herb Dean should no longer ref fights. I swear to God, he is done. He's retired. His brain doesn't work as quick as it once did. It's not correlating with his body. His vision is fucking garbage. Or he'll see something and it just doesn't, like, process in his brain. Because Blood Diamond was cheating the entire fight, grabbing the cage, grabbing gloves, kneeing Charles Radtke, in the nuts multiple times, and not just the 2 times that Herb noticed, where thankfully he did take a point, because it kind of made up for all of the missed ones. Although, if you're going to keep that same standard, you're going to take a point every 2. Blood Diamond should have had like 3 fucking points taken. Charles Radtke tried to let him know on multiple occasions. Herb Dean's just brushing it off, which, don't be doing that when a guy's actively trying to hit you. But when you have a second, I mean, fucking hell, dude, or even in between rounds, like, hey, bro, he kneed me in the cup like 6 times that round. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Constantly grabbing the cage, constantly kneeing him in the nuts. Made it closer than I thought he was going to. And then this dude kicked off the post-fight speeches, which was him dropping the F-bomb for a British cigarette or whatever, you know what I mean, dude? That was hilarious. He was irritated. He was getting booed. I wasn't sure why he was getting booed. Sure, he was pushing him up the cage a little bit. Jesus, fuck, dude. Towards the end, trying to go for a takedown and things like that. It wasn't the most entertaining fight, but they did have a lot of entertaining moments, and he almost finished Blood Diamond earlier on. It wasn't like it wasn't the worst performance we've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't falling asleep watching it, but crowd was giving him grief, and he gave it back, dude, and that's hilarious. Okay, first of all, now, anyways, Moving up the card to Nasrat Haqparast versus Landon Quinones. I picked Nasrat Haqparast. I did say that he would probably get a decision. I couldn't see him finishing this guy. This fight was an absolute war. This was one of the best fights of the night. I can't believe it didn't get fight of the night, as a matter of fact. Very good matchmaking, very good performance by both guys, very good showing of themselves. Nasrat Haqparast just seemed to land the bigger shots, and towards the end of the fight there, Landon Quinones kind of ran out of gas, and then everything Nasrat Haqparast was hitting him with had a pretty significant effect. Nasrat had his leg taken away pretty early on, but just fought through it and kept going and kept landing big shots. It was a great performance. As I said, no finish, decision, and he got it done just like that. Good for him, good for Nasrat Haqparast. Moving up the card to Jamie Mullarkey versus John MAKDESSI. I picked Jamie Mullarkey to win. I didn't know if he would get a finish either. I think I might have said by unanimous decision. It was a close fight also. John MAKDESSI had his moments. And actually, never mind. I think John MAKDESSI kind of got robbed here. I'm going to be honest. I picked Jamie Mullarkey to win. I think John MAKDESSI might have gotten robbed a little bit. I think that there's an argument. He did more damage in rounds 2 and rounds 3. Was landing the cleaner shots. Jamie Mullarkey's accuracy just went down and down and down first round onwards. He had a brilliant first round. After that, not so much, and he got hurt badly at the end of round number 2, so I thought for sure that round went to him. So I'm not sure what rounds the judges actually gave him. It wasn't even a split decision or anything, but I did think that John MAKDESSI kind of got screwed over there, and I picked, Jamie Mullarkey to win. Now, I'll take it, because they do that to me quite a bit. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is, but it's unfortunate for John MAKDESSI. Good fight, fun fight overall, obviously, and good showing by both guys, and, shit happens, but it was, I thought John MAKDESSI probably could have gotten the nod there. Now moving up the card too, Jack Jenkins versus Chepe Mariscal. This was my underdog pick of the card, and I got it, dude. Chepe Mariscal is a savage. He's not just going to let you fucking tee off on him. He's going to come forward and hit you even if he's in pain, and while the ending was a little unfortunate, it is what it is, dude. He picked him up, or went to go take him down off of one of those throws, like one of those step through throws. Jack Jenkins tried to try to brace for impact with his arm. Not ideal, dude. I've snapped my arm doing that same thing, falling off of a bike when I was 10 years old. Okay, I learned I'd never do that again, and Jack Jenkins hadn't learned that lesson, I guess, and that's very unfortunate, very, gross ending. Shitty for Jack Jenkins. He's a savage. He looked, all right when he was leaving the cage. He congratulated Chepe Mariscal, and while it was an injury was caused by something that Chepe Mariscal did, and I don't think that should be taken away from him at all. Good underdog pick, and yeah, I mean, look, Jack Jenkins was having a lot of success early on, landing big, heavy leg kicks, as he usually does, good body kicks, things like that. Chepe Mariscal, though, wasn't letting him off with anything. He continued to march forward, trying to get to him, and eventually got the job done. Great job by Chepe Mariscal coming in, making good on an underdog opportunity. Now moving up the card to Carlos Ulberg versus Da Woon Jung. Pick Carlos Ulberg to win. He got the job done. Fantastic, dude. This was a fun fucking fight also. The submission was great, and I'm so glad that Mark Goddard was there to, once again, Herb Dean not seeing it. Now, I understand that Da Woon Jung's hand was kind of in a weird situation, kind of in an awkward place. You couldn't necessarily see it all that clearly. But that's like the one, if somebody is in a submission, you should be, as a referee, you should be looking for their hands. I know everybody now wants to look to see if their arm's going limp or whatever, but look for a tap first, you know what I mean? He could have gotten to a position where he could have, so the right hand of Da Woon Jung was completely trapped and under the body of Jung and Carlos Ulberg on top of him. The only hand that was free and available was that left hand, and it had been that way for a good minute, like the entire time Carlos Ulberg was beating him up on the ground. So as a referee, if you see a submission get locked in, you should be finding that hand that was available and visible the entire time leading up to that. So I don't know why it's strange, man. So credit to Carlos Ulberg, man, showing a little bit of improvement, not just in the striking game also, but the grappling, right? We haven't really seen a whole lot of that from him. I believe that was his first career submission. Da Woon Jung is a tough motherfucker, dude. He took a lot of shots, kept coming forward, was landing decent shit of his own. Like, it wasn't a total blowout. I mean, Carlos Ulberg was definitely getting the better of the exchanges. Also credit to him because after that tap, to play that shit off cool and not go sleep when there was 11 seconds left when he tapped. I mean, dude was in a pretty clear-cut rear naked choke for a good 15 seconds or so. Do you know what I mean? He didn't go to sleep. We've seen guys go to sleep a lot faster than that. So credit to Da Jung for trying to hang in there after him, after tapping, trying to play it off cool. Good job by Carlos Ulberg, though. Great performance. He looked fantastic on the feet. Real nice, snappy shots, not loading up on shit. And eventually got the job done with a submission. And working in that takedown was brilliant, I thought, because primarily the entire fight was stand-up. And then, just to switch it up in the last little bit there, he was doing good work on the ground, good ground and pound. Trapped that wrist, as I said, the right wrist of Da Jung. Wasn't letting him defend himself all that much. Did a bunch of damage, blood everywhere, and then sunk in the choke. Credit to him, and credit to Mark Goddard again for seeing that on the replay and making Herb Dean change it to what it should have been, which was a finish. Now, moving up the card, main card, Tyson Pedro versus Anton TURKALJ. Dude, they said something when Anton TURKALJ was walking out, and I thought, what the fuck, dude? I don't know if anybody else caught this. So, they were talking about his nickname, and all the fun that was had leading up in media day and the press conference, things like this regarding, they were talking to Tyson Pedro about Anton TURKALJ's nickname. As he's walking out, John Anik says his father gave him that nickname, and I just thought, wait, what the fuck, dude? First of all, leave it to Anik to tell us some bullshit like that, but also, thank you, John Anik, for telling us some bullshit like that, because somebody should probably call Child Protective Services and seek retroactive justice for Anton TURKALJ against his own father, because what kind of dad is giving you that fucking nickname, and for what goddamn reason, okay? That's one. Two, brilliant performance by Tyson Pedro. Picked him to win also here. I didn't think he would look that phenomenal, and I was almost hesitant of picking him. I forgot that he had said he gotten sick against Modestas Bukauskas, but also a lot of times guys just offer up excuses like that when they have a shitty performance. Now, Tyson Pedro doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's just going to come up with bullshit excuses, and he looked phenomenal. Absolutely ran through Anton TURKALJ, fucking starched him. Anton TURKALJ should probably be cut. Fuck that guy, dude. He cheated a fuck ton in his Dana White Contender Series fight, didn't get the contract, and then they needed somebody to step in on short notice against Jailton Almeida, and I think he may have won one fight since, and it wasn't all that entertaining. Tyson Pedro, that was the fucking coolest post-fight celebration I've ever seen. That was straight up Ghost of Tsushima shit, dude. The fucking katana slash, the wipe the blood off with the fucking, or whip the blood off and then sheath it back, dude. That was cool, in my opinion. I thought it was fucking wicked. And Tyson Pedro is one of those guys. I know he trains out of City Kickboxing, but I do like him quite a bit. Him and the other, like, Samoan-type dudes on the card. They're fucking awesome. And that was a brilliant performance, and the fucking celebration was perfect. And it wasn't like he had to think about it, so maybe he had already thought about it pre-fight, but just right there like that in the moment was pretty cool, man. We don't see really cool post-fight celebrations all that often. Like even last week in France, Charrier did, like, it reminded me of soccer, man, and I was like, oh really, dude? I don't want to see these in the UFC. That's what I want to see in the UFC for in terms of a post-fight celebration. But also he fucking starched Anton TURKALJ, so it was perfect on both ends. Okay, moving up the card too. Oh, great performance by Tyson Pedro, by the way. Sorry. Moving up the card too. Justin Tafa versus Austin Lane. I picked Justin Tafa to win. So did the odds makers. I said he would KO him. I said it would be with a left hook. I don't remember what punch ended up landing and that actually starched Austin Lane, but it wasn't the end of it, right? Because then he followed up with some vicious fucking ground and pound. And good, dude. Fuck Austin Lane. Get rid of him. He eye poked him again. He was fucking raking with his fingers out immediately as soon as the fight starts. Not just to find his own reach, but when an opponent comes in, he tries to push off with his fingers extended, and it was driving me crazy, and I'm glad he got starched for it. Justin Tafa, while he's big, morbidly obese man, right, he's a very good technical striker. Him and his brother both. And he finds ways to make himself longer. And it's based on, like, angles and shit. He's not just winging to wing. Do you know what I mean? He waits for a good opportune moment. He'll leap in at an odd angle and clip you, and all he needs really is to hit you with the ridge hand. I mean, that was perfect. Perfect. Great performance by Justin Tafa. He got performance of the night. So he should have kicked, because that was vicious. The ground and pound that followed up was also vicious. And I mean, while he was a favorite, like considered by the odds makers, they've fought similar level guys. They've almost lost to similar level guys. And Austin Lane had all the advantages in terms of physicality in every which way, shape, or form, right? He was way taller than him, way longer reach, all this shit. Wasn't able to get it done. Good job by Justin Tafa. Great performance. Moving up the card to the next most based post-fight interview. Manel Kape versus Felipe Dos Santos. I said I wasn't sure if Manel Kape would get a finish, because when these guys come in on ultra short notice, sometimes it's tricky for their opponent, especially an opponent who's ranked and we expect a whole lot out of, to look how we expect them to look. And Felipe Dos Santos, dude, credit to Diego Lima. He has like found a mold in Charles Oliveira, and he is creating a bunch of fighters that are mini Charles Oliveira's. This kid was fucking sharp, okay? He looked phenomenal. That was a great showing. I didn't think there was any controversy. People were upset in the comment sections, as per usual, you know, of like the UFC's post of Manel Kape winning, or the MMA Junkies post of Manel Kape winning, saying robbery, that he lost and all this shit. I thought it was a pretty clear-cut victory for Manel Kape. He was landing very clean shots, very clean counters. Some of them are very quick and hard to see, I guess, if you're like to the untrained eye, but dude was landing beautiful shit and hurt Felipe Dos Santos on a number of occasions. I think they only scored him with one knockdown, but I think there was a few other like flash knockdowns where Felipe Dos Santos might have caught himself before his ass actually touched the mat type thing. But that was a fun fucking fight, dude. That was very fun. Manel Kape was getting lured into a bit of brawl situations from time to time also. But man, Felipe Dos Santos, but all those guys, dude, they hold their hands down here. They walk forward very straight up and down, Muay Thai style. Just savages, dude. But the accuracy of them. And it's weird that you get so many. That's not usually an attribute that you would see coming out of an entire gym. That's like a star pupil type thing. But then when you see all these mini Charles Oliveira's, and they all are very sniper-like with their straight right hands, or, you know, what have you. It's credit to the coaches, man. And the training partners also. That was a phenomenal showing, man. For a debut to fight the top 10 dude, and Manel Kape, who we've seen have a neck-and-neck fight with Alejandro Pantoja, who's the fucking champion. You know what I mean? I mean, dude, I hope they give him like a top 15 guy after this performance, because he's fucking right there, dude. That was a very close fight. But yeah, great performance by Manel Kape on the mic and otherwise. Calling out Kai Kara France again. I have no idea why. All of a sudden, the Aussie crowd seemed to get behind all the CKB guys tonight or last night, but they were, and they were booing Manel Kape like crazy, even though they were cheering for him at the press conference. And then he whips out that word, and I'm just thinking, dude, get these guys on a fucking plane before the Australian government tries to, like, find them or something. Because that's what might happen here if those words were thrown out in Vancouver, Canada, in June, back at UFC 289. Great performance by both guys, but very clean shit from Manel Kape there. That was phenomenal, and very fun fight to watch. That's why that earlier fight didn't get fight of the night. I forgot about this one. Moving up the card too, Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. I picked Volkov to win. I thought he would get the job with long-range weapons. I thought that if he was going to finish Tai Tuivasa, it would be with a head kick, but I thought he would just probably outpoint him for 3 rounds. I did not expect him to get an Ezekiel choke. I don't know if we've ever seen Alexander Volkov get a submission ever, and he pulls off like one of the most rare submissions in UFC history. Tai Tuivasa had a few moments, but not really, man. Alexander Volkov was beating him up basically from start to finish. Credit to Tai Tuivasa for not ever, you know, coming forward and trying to get the job done. He looks frustrated in between rounds and shit, but then he'll still come out and, you know, the leg kick was one thing that Tai Tuivasa really had going for him. He was hurting Alexander Volkov on multiple occasions with that. You could see that it was having a big effect on his movement and shit like that, and he started kind of having to, like, rush for... Alexander Volkov made pretty good adjustments. When Tai Tuivasa would throw one of those nasty leg kicks. Before he started kind of catching them, he started switching stances as he was throwing it. So it would land, but it would take some of it off of it. And then also he would have all of his weight on the foot or the leg that hasn't been battered. And he would be able to land shit from that stance as well. And then kind of, you know, go back to his regular stance. And then he started catching them and made Ty fall over a couple times. Once he got him on the ground, I mean, he's so long, dude. And that was great performance by Alexander Volkov, like phenomenal. Takes Tai Tuivasa's ranking number 6 in the world. And rough for Tai Tuivasa, man. He's lost quite a few in a row, or you know, quite a few of his last however many. Has not been a good look, but I don't think that the UFC will cut him, and I don't think they should, man. He's fun as fuck. He can be competitive with the guys that aren't at the very top of the division. Do you know what I mean? Like, some of the guys at the top of heavyweight are very, very, very skilled in certain areas. Like, we've got a bunch of specialists up there. I think he could have fun fights with a bunch of fucking guys that just aren't right at the top. So, you know, unfortunate for Tai Tuivasa. I would have liked to see him get the job done, even though I picked Volkov to win. But it is what it is. Great performance by Alexander Volkov. New wrinkle in his game, Ezekiel choke. Not something we see a lot of, but it is an underutilized choke for sure. So great job by him, dude. Moving up the card too. So here's the fucking thing, you guys. The main event, dude. Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. What the fuck? Okay. What the fuck? Hey? What the fuck? Sean Strickland made Israel Adesanya look like an absolute fucking amateur on the feet. That was one of the best title performances I have seen in a long fucking time. Holy God. Obviously, I picked Israel Adesanya to win, as the vast majority of people did. However, dude. However, in my picks video, I said, it's not like Sean Strickland has no chance. If he's able to pressure Israel Adesanya constantly and press him up against the cage, okay, not just that, well, I said that would take away the majority of Israel Adesanya's kicking game, which is the majority of his striking game. But then I also said he would still have to check leg kicks, which that was one of the reasons why I picked Izzy. I didn't think Sean Strickland would make that adjustment, because even in the Abus Magomedov fight, Abus was landing quite a few leg kicks on him that were hard, and he didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for this fucking fight, man. So you don't expect somebody to pick up a new skill and be able to do it that well in that short amount of time, okay? But I also said, if you were to pressure him so that Izzy's back is up against the cage, he would take away his feinting game and his kicking game, because when you're feinting in a situation like that, when your back's up against the fence, you can throw the little hip feint all the fuck you want, dude. That's an idle threat. You're not throwing that, I know you're not, because of the way you don't have enough room to throw that. So his feints get severely diminished, and the reactions you're going to get out of Sean Strickland become severely diminished. His kicking game is almost gone, and the one when it wasn't, Sean Strickland checked almost every fucking kick Israel Adesanya threw his way. Sean Strickland blocked almost every body kick thrown his way. Unbelievable. But then not just that, if he was able to do those two things, I said this, Sean Strickland has way better boxing than Israel Adesanya. I said that. Go back and watch my picks video, dude. I said that Sean Strickland has the best boxing in the middleweight division. There were even a few of you that laughed at me. Sean Strickland has the best boxing in the the middleweight division, pardon me. Like, he just does, dude. That was phenomenal. I didn't think he was going to be able to do it, because there were so many things that he would have to do first to be able to get to a position where it would just be a pure boxing match. But that's essentially what he made it. Checking all the kicks, getting in close. Izzy's back up against the cage, which I see people who are casuals who probably just started watching Israel Adesanya after that last KO say, like, he looked like shit, or why was his back up against the cage all the time? He was literally running from him. And I'm just like, have you watched any of his fucking fights, dude? This is how he fights. He's knocked people out like that before. This is not Israel looked like shit because for no reason. This is Sean Strickland made him look like shit. Made him miss over 100 times to the head by round 4, if I'm not mistaken, dude. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Israel Adesanya landed at a 35% clip overall, and that's in every department. not just head strikes. So, what the fuck, hey? That is unbelievable. Sean Strickland literally just outclassed Israel Adesanya on the feet for 5 rounds straight. Israel Adesanya won round 2. That's it. And you know what? Even some of these significant strike numbers, I don't think are real. I'm going to be honest with you. When they were popping up during the fight, in between rounds and shit, I thought, fucking no. Israel Adesanya did not land that many significant strikes. Are these strike numbers, like, are the people counting the strikes? Do they not understand defense? Like, I don't understand it. Sean Strickland has the best fucking defense in the middleweight division. I said this also in my picks video. By percentage by percentage points. He gets hit the least. He also has some of the most accurate striking in the division, dude. I know that it looks weird, but it's effective. Dude. I'm not trying to take credit. Obviously, I picked against him. And yesterday in my chat, there were people saying I could see a Strickland upset. And I said, look, it's possible. But I didn't think it was going to happen. And then I even had somebody ask me, like, what's his best path to victory? And I said that, like, pressure. Take away the leg kicks. And then make it into, like, a dirty boxing match, essentially. And it wasn't even a dirty boxing match, dude. He didn't shoot for a single fucking takedown, hey? That wasn't dirty boxing match. Dude, he almost flatlined Israel Adesanya in the first round. The first punch that he landed was so clean that Israel Adesanya almost got flatlined. And then, dude, I'm sick of people fucking yelling to the referees, telling them not to stop the fight. You don't get to do that, bro. I don't care if you're recovering. Defend yourself, you fuck. Like, you don't get to just not defend yourself and then look at the referee and be like, don't stop it. That's not how that works. Bro. What the fuck? Sean Strickland just put on a masterclass performance against Israel Adesanya. And what's driving me crazy is, as soon as they got, like, when John Anik and Laura Sanko and Daniel Cormier sit around and do the, like, pay-per-view closer, they recap the event, they're all making excuses for Israel Adesanya. They're all saying, oh, his strength of schedule and shit like this. Bro, I get that historically he's had a phenomenal strength of schedule. In the last 11 months, he's fought twice. And his last fight was fucking 5 months ago. And it was like 6 minutes long. Okay? Sean Strickland in 9 months has had 4 fights, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 3 fights. He is more active than Israel Adesanya right now. Now, he doesn't have to deal with all the fucking media and shit like that. But dude has had a very strong schedule also. Let's not diminish it, dude. And Dana White saying that the immediate rematch is happening. This was his first title defense. Sean Strickland was his first title defense of his second reign. And he just got outclassed. This is not like a I got caught. This is not like I'm about to win a fight against Alex Pereira rounds 3 rounds to 2. And then I get fucking finished in the final minute or whatever. You know what I mean? This is not, I'm winning rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5 against Leon Edwards, and then he head kicks me in the last minute. This is, I got outclassed, pillar to post, fucking bell to bell, start to finish. Sean Strickland outstruck Israel Adesanya the entire time, essentially. Masterclass performance. Beautiful. Masterclass defensive performance. Dude, I was in awe. My throat was fucked after that main event because I could not believe it. I have only fucking screamed so loud 2 other times while watching UFC, and it was Jorge Masvidal flying KO again, flying knee KO Ben Askren, and Leon Edwards head kicking Kamaru Usman, and those were quick, right? So once they happened, they happened. Whereas this was 25 minutes of me fucking not understanding what was happening. And dude, I said this at the crickets thing, right? Dude, it was almost getting to the point where it was a little overwhelming, which is sad because I don't have that many subscribers or anything, but I did have like a few videos do quite a bit better than they typically would. I turned my notifications off because I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, the amount of people jumping in here, calling me a hater, a racist, and all this fucking shit. And I kept saying, I picked Izzy to win, you fucking idiots. It didn't matter. And then I wake up this morning and it's just dead quiet, except for a few of you coming back to rightfully remind me that you called it. Okay, so credit to all of you that called it. Obviously, I picked Pereira to win, or Adesanya to win. I thought that, I just thought he wasn't going to be able to. I thought there was, while it was a direct quote unquote direct path to victory, because it was primarily on the feet. Like, this is how I imagined him winning, was taking away the leg kicks, pressure, forward pressure. But I thought he would also have to mix in grappling, which he didn't. It seems direct, but there's a lot more steps that he has to take. Dude, Dana White saying Izzy looked slow and stiff. Enough of that, dude. Sean Strickland made him look like that. I think that if these guys fought again, Sean Strickland does the same thing. If I'm being honest. Do you know what I mean? That was not a I got caught or I'm injured or some bullshit. Sean Strickland outclassed him everywhere. And with basically all boxing. Took away the entire fucking... Dude, Israel Adesanya... I said this. Israel Adesanya's boxing is not that good. His kicks are what make him how good he is, right? And the ability to feint. He needs space to work. He didn't have that space. Sean Strickland was on his ass the entire time. Unfucking scathed. Not a mark on him. Dude, I can't believe that. Dan Hardy is a fucking idiot. I'll tell you that much, dude. Dan Hardy is a fucking idiot. He was going off, talking so much shit about Sean Strickland's striking, not only his offense, but his defense. When you can look at the numbers, and he has the best defense in the entire fucking division that is majority striking. Like, most of the best guys in middleweight are strikers. And he's got the best numbers, and Dan Hardy's making fun of the way his hand comes down when he goes to block a body kick, or the way he fucking parries, which, by the way, he was incredible with those too, dude. Close, tight, little fucking parries, and his timing is so good with them. They literally look like UFC 2 parries, where he parries them so perfectly, the timing is so good, that Israel Adesanya, like, gets off balance a little bit from the parry itself. Dan Hardy, the guy throwing ridge hands for fucking hooks, is unironically shitting on Sean Strickland's striking abilities. Man, dude, unbelievable. I can't fucking believe this shit, dude. This is the best. That was an incredible event last night. I'll tell you what, dude. That was an incredible fucking event, dude. I don't want to hear excuses. That was a perfect performance by Sean Strickland. None of that should be taken away. But another thing that Dan Hardy criticized him for was he said he's the most uncoachable fighter he's ever seen. He says he would hate to have to be the guy trying to tell Sean Strickland what to do in the corner. That when Sean Strickland's in between rounds, he's walking around and Coach Eric Nixick's trying to get his fucking attention and shit like this. Like, no, dude. I don't gotta be sitting down looking at you eye to eye for you to know I'm fucking listening, dude. Coach Eric Nixick knows his fighter. You know what I mean? And I said this, that Coach Eric Nixick, if there's a guy who can come up with a game plan, it's him. And, there's probably a few other guys that could, but I was pretty confident in Coach Eric Nixick's ability to come up with a game plan to beat Izzy, but it was on Sean to execute it, and he did it perfectly. And he did whatever his coach asked him to do, except for mixing in the grappling, which is just gangster, dude, because fuck y'all, I don't need to. I'm winning this. Dude, are you kidding me? Rounds 1, 3, 4, and 5, clear as day, Sean Strickland, all on the feet. He just outstruck Israel Adesanya better than anybody we've ever seen. He just landed the cleanest punch on Israel Adesanya we have ever seen anybody land. And he almost slept him with it. And ever since that moment, I think that was like the deciding factor in that fight. While it didn't result in a finish, once he dropped him that way, Israel Adesanya was fucked. He looked literally terrified of Sean Strickland. And, by the end of that fight, he looked pretty beat up also. It wasn't just like Sean Strickland outpointed him. He did damage. Do you know what I mean? There was damage there. So, incredible performance by Sean Strickland. Holy shit, dude. Order is restored. Amazing. Like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.